Here is Immortal Moments for explanation. Friends, like videos and subscribes to our channel. Swallowed Star 2 Land of Origin Part 31 Explanation. So let's start our explanation. After leaving the Dream Flower Tower, Morosa merely used void shuttling twice to arrive above an ordinary cave mansion in the Snow Winter district of Jiu City, where creatures of the Thousand Leaves Vine clan resided. Divine Monarch, Araya has told us everything. We voluntarily follow you to the outside of the city, a true god of void space from the Thousand Leaves Vine clan said respectfully as he performed a ritual bow. Although a small number of the clan's members were not present in the cave mansion, there was clearly no time left, and it was already fortunate to be able to take away the vast majority. Good, Morosa, who appeared rather honest and simple, nodded and with a wave of his hand directly collected all the creatures and buildings of the entire cave mansion. Only the bare ground and the lakes were left. While rescuing the Thousand Leaves Vine clan, Morosa also transmitted his thoughts to Luo Feng. Master, I have already rescued the Dream Flower Tower Master as well as Araya and nearly all creatures of the Dream Flower Tower. Araya asked for my help, so I conveniently saved the Thousand Leaves Vine clan as well. Is everything going smoothly? Luo Feng asked. Fairly smoothly. The Heart Shadow sect knows I am the Master's servant and did not dare to act against me. Although they wanted to stop me from saving the cultivators of the Dream Flower Tower, I ignored them, Morosa transmitted back. The disciples of the Heavenly Flame sect have established 9 artificing shops, and of these, I will need your help rescuing the cultivators from these 3, Luo Feng transmitted back, and sent Morosa the detailed addresses of the 3 artificing shops. I have already clashed with the Heart Shadow sect, and if they see you again, they might act against you. You need to be careful. Ha ha, it would be better if they act, Morosa said excitedly. We must act quickly. I suspect that the Heart Shadow sect has started to gather forces to deal with me now and we cannot delay for long, Luo Feng transmitted. Don't worry, Morosa said confidently. It had been 5 eras since he reached the primal chaos realm and he had already passed the most vulnerable stage. His godly body had grown to its limits. And his understanding of the great Tao of destruction origin was getting deeper and deeper. Even if he suppressed his strength to a level comparable to Elder Heart-Eye, his methods could be much more enigmatic. If he wanted to leave, the Heart Shadow sect couldn't stop him at all. Morosa naturally did not take the Heart Shadow sect seriously. But what he was afraid of was being pursued and killed by the ancient godly kings of the land of origin, so he had to do everything according to the Master's command, perfectly acting the role of a protector. Sigh? Although Morosa could have arrived at another artificing shop in one step, he still used 3 void shuttles to finally arrive at one. The Master of the Heart Shadow sect and the 18 elders gathered, some in their true bodies and some as divine power incarnations. They all watched the scenes revealed by the sect Great Formation. In one scene, Luo Feng went to an artificing shop and boldly killed some eternal true gods who had slaughtered others and took away all the cultivators from the shop. In another scene, Morosa was also rescuing cultivators from an artificing shop, and upon discovering the slaughterers, he too took action and killed them. The servant of Lord Luo He, called Luosa, had always disguised himself as a true god of void space. But according to information, Lord Luo He took his servant Luo Sao with him to hunt down Divine Monarch Shui Yun. We have long suspected that this Luo Sao was no ordinary being, they discussed. Even under the suppression of the sect Great Formation, this Luo Sao can easily shuttle through the void. Relying on mechanical flow secret treasures is one thing, but if it's based on his own strength, he may well surpass most of the elders. One Luo He, one Luo Sao. With such strength and yet Luo Sao willingly serves as a servant, he could possibly be a protector sent by a great power. Their strengths should complement each other, they deduced. These elders were extraordinarily insightful. They were well aware that 2 extremely powerful eternal true gods skilled in the ways of the primal chaos realm would likely specialize in different directions. But once they worked together, they could make up for each other's shortcomings and confront most dangerous predicaments. Once they join forces, it will be even harder to kill them, some of the elders began to worry. The force we've sent out is powerful enough, the Master of the Heart Shadow sect said calmly and confidently. Suddenly, sect leader, I heard that Luo his servant, Luosa, is also very strong. Do you need me to take action? A message was sent to the sect leader. Jiu Yi, you are the hidden power of our Heart Shadow sect, and it is time for you to act when we battle with the great army of the Marquis of Jiu Jiang. The master of the Heart Shadow sect responded, to deal with Luo He and Luosa this time, we can only use some of our public power. I have dispatched the Heart Devil Kite, the Six Shadows Killing Formation, and the Great Destruction Ultimate Formation. These already account for 50% of the Heart Shadow sect's power, which should be enough to deal with them, the master of the Heart Shadow sect responded. All right, Jiu Yi did not say more. The master of the Heart Shadow sect thought of the disciple Jiu Yi from his sect and felt somewhat relieved. He had not expected that assembling the disciples scattered across the land of origin would yield such a pleasant surprise. Initially, Jiu Yi, who could only be considered a somewhat excellent eternal true god, had grown to a point close to that of Elder Hartai. The most important thing was that Jiu Yi had cultivated the godly king level inheritance, Heart Shadow secret art, to an exceedingly profound extent and could even control one of the sect-protecting mechanical treasures, the Demon General of Heart Shadow. The Heart Shadow sect had a total of 5 godly king level inheritances, and any eternal true god level disciple who passed the test could learn parts of the godly king level inheritance. Among these 5 inheritances, the Heart Shadow secret art was held in the highest regard and was also the most difficult to cultivate. The entire name of the Heart Shadow sect was derived from the Heart Shadow secret art. Once Jiu Yi managed to control the sect-protecting treasure, Demon General of Heart Shadow, he would be even more difficult to deal with than Elder Hartai's Heart Devil Kite. This Jiu Yi is quite arrogant and unwilling to interact much with the other elders. With his strength, he is fully capable of taking on the position of an elder. It's a pity that once this war is over, he will leave. The master of the Heart Shadow sect was helpless, not just him, even Elder Hartai will leave after the war. They had come back this time, either because of the gratitude for the teachings of the sect or because of the orders from the primal chaos realm. Even more than half of the disciples of the Heart Shadow sect, who had already taken root in many places across the land of origin, ignored the summoning of the Heart Shadow sect. This Luo He is really ruthless and vicious. The disciples of the Heart Shadow sect that were found and slaughtered were killed effortlessly. The sect leader and 18 elders watched anxiously. Elder Hartai, have you not arrived yet? They looked towards the divine power incarnation of Elder Hartai. Just by controlling the Heart Devil Kite, I am only on par with him. I cannot stop him at all. Once I appear, he might directly flee. Elder Hartai spoke. I am waiting for the 6 Shadows Killing Formation to join up. Then I, along with the 6 Shadows Killing Formation, will trap him. After that, when the Great Destruction Ultimate Formation is activated, we can completely annihilate him. The Great Destruction Ultimate Formation, which required 360 eternal true gods to operate, was one of the genuine killing moves of the Heart Shadow sect. Lord Luo He and his servant Luosa have both taken action, and they are rescuing the disciples of the Heavenly Flame sect who established the artificing shop. Both of them are quite ruthless when they take action. This Luo Sa's power seems to be not less than that of Divine Monarch Shuiyun. The leaders of the 5 great families in the city owner's mansion watched the monitored scene with some surprise. Luo Feng's strength being considerable was normal, but the strength of his servant Luosa was somewhat surprising to them. When Her Royal Highness the Princess came on behalf of the nation's ruler to recruit Luo He refused. He really does have an important background, said the Lord of Huyang City. This servant Luosa keeps a low profile, yet his strength is close to matching Luo He's. Ha ha, the stronger the two of them are, the better. With Lord Luo He and his servant assisting, the help in the war will be tremendous. The leaders of the 5 great families felt their hopes for victory rise significantly. After all, an eternal true god of such caliber is equivalent to an elite army. Not to mention that 2 had appeared all at once. At the Flame Wind Pavilion, Pavilion Master Emperor Chu Yu was also watching the progress of the civil war within the city. This Luo He really does have some background, Emperor Chu Yu watched and said with a smile. No matter what background, it is not comparable to that of Emperor Chu's lineage, the Deputy Pavilion Master said. The Imperial clan of Flame Wind Ancient Country is recognized as the most substantial support in the land of origin. The only ones who could match them were the Imperial clan of Thunder Ancient Country. Of course, if the legendary Yuan were willing to take disciples, the attraction would naturally be even greater. But Yuan was not the type to take leisure in teaching disciples earnestly. To gain an opportunity left by him was already extraordinarily fortunate. Judging by his moves, his accumulation of realm mastery is profound, but somewhat chaotic, Emperor Jiu observed. His primal chaos realm technique contains the flavor of both the great Tao of life and the path of destruction. And moreover, it's a mixture of both. Emperor Jiu shook his head slightly. From this, it can be seen that his background inheritance is quite ordinary, probably just a regular godly king at best. Yes. The deputy pavilion master nodded. The supreme laws contain the origin great Tao, and each and every origin great Tao provides a clear direction. To mix the two indicates that there is no direction at all, only groping in the dark. Progress will be very difficult. These imperial clansmen are very clear. One must not be greedy in cultivation. By focusing on a single path and having a complete inheritance and clear origin great Tao guidance, one can naturally progress much more smoothly. Merging different great Taos? Without an inheritance or clear guidance, the difficulty can increase by more than 100-fold. No matter, once he returns to the ancient country and receives part of Emperor Chu's lineage inheritance, he will know how to cultivate properly, Emperor Jiu said. Asterisk. Luo Feng directly collected all the artifact refiners, apprentices, and customers in every artificing shop he passed, and wherever he knew there was an eternal true god of the Heart Shadow sect committing slaughter, Luo Feng also casually killed them. Strange, why is the Heart Shadow sect moving so slowly? Luo Feng had long been prepared, but he had yet to encounter any powerful killing moves of the Heart Shadow sect. Luo Feng had already taken over the 5th artificing shop. Lord Luo He, the artifact refiners and apprentices of the artificing shop were all excited. As for the surrounding disciples of the Heart Shadow sect, they scattered and fled without hesitation upon seeing Luo Feng. Luo Feng's realm of life and death sensed something, and he immediately first swept up the many cultivators from the artificing shop with a wave of his hand, then looked up into the distance. In the distance, a black avian-shaped mechanical treasure appeared, along with 6 super-large mechanical secret treasures forming a formation. Heart Devil Kite. Luo Feng recognized it at a glance, one of the Heart Shadow sect's renowned sect-protecting treasures, the Heart Devil Kite. The Heart Shadow sect's sect-protecting treasures were all very strong, containing many mystical aspects. However, throughout the long years, some were lost, and the remaining treasured treasures, the Heart Shadow sect mostly could not utilize them. The threshold for wielding sect-protecting treasures was extremely high. Morosa, another artificing shop will be left to you as well, Luo Feng transmitted another address to Morosa. Out of the 9 artificing shops, he had collected 5, with the other 4 having to be left to Morosa. Don't worry, Master, leave it to me. Morosa was still quite relaxed, as he had not encountered any significant resistance. Luo He, this massive black avian, with eyes emitting a blood-red gleam, declared, my Heart Shadow sect has shown you respect, yet you act so recklessly. You are truly seeking your own death. Spare me the nonsense. Luo Feng was disinclined to waste words. As the longer time passed, the stronger the forces that the Heart Shadow sect could mobilize would be. Boom! Luo Feng shot up into the sky in an instant. From the high in the sky, the dark great formation unleashed its full might, engulfing and binding with its vast dark vortex. Meanwhile, the Heart Devil Kite and the 6 Shadows killing formation both moved at the same time. HMPH. At this moment, Luo Feng ignited his divine power, burning it as he deployed the realm of life and death. A vast domain that seemed like a Taiji cloud spread in all directions, directly crushing the dark vortex. After all, this was a super large-scale sect great formation, which, in targeting an individual, had only a bit more power than the original formation of Huyang City, far inferior to Luo Feng's realm of life and death. The enormous Taiji cloud raged in all directions, with Luo Feng standing in the center, holding the blood shadow knife in hand. Seal. 6 gigantic, blurred shadows stood in 6 directions, as if they trapped this domain of heaven and earth, imprisoning Luo Feng as well. The Heart Devil Kite let out a piercing screech, lunging to attack Luo Feng. This screech struck directly at Luo Feng's wool. Die? While launching a wool attack, the Heart Devil Kite fiercely struck at Luo Feng, its claws tearing through space, causing rifts in the void. Boom! Under the will attack. It was as if a fragile egg, carrying an unstoppable will, fiercely smashed into a mountain. A killing formation of the great Tao of Destruction origin. Morosa watched excitedly. After all, he had reached the primal chaos realm and had a deep understanding of the great Tao of Destruction origin. He instantly perceived the many intricacies of this terrifying formation. The creator of the formation must be the godly king who established the Heart Shadow sect. His realm is indeed much higher than mine, observed Morosa carefully, integrating 36 destruction moves into a perfect formation and even using a formation diagram to allow 360 eternal true gods to form it. Impressive. Extremely impressive. If they fought individually, even 3,000 eternal true gods would not be a match for this single killing formation. Master, if we get caught in this killing formation, trying to break out, we'll have to reveal some abnormal strength, Morosa communicated through spiritual will. Of course, this great formation has a significant flaw: it can't move through the void. This group of eternal true gods is already struggling to use the formation diagram to enact such a formation. If they were to traverse the void, the formation would definitely collapse. If the entire formation could chase enemies through the void, there would be no escape, Luo Feng communicated back. The Heart Shadow sect doesn't have such a fearsome formation yet. If a group of enemies appeared through the void and the formation already covered a vast area, indeed, there would be no escape. Throughout the entire land of origin, it was exceedingly difficult for eternal true gods to set up such a formation. Neither Yu Kingdom nor Sha Kingdom had ever heard of such a formidable killing formation. Boom tilde tilde tilde. The massive formation obscured half the sky and rapidly enveloped the area. Within it, the 360 eternal true gods felt anger as well as unwillingness. If Elder Hartai and the others can trap Luo He, delaying him just a little, our great destruction ultimate formation will completely cover him, ensuring his utter demise. Now, he wouldn't be foolish enough to be trapped by the formation. The disciples of the eternal true gods from the Heart Shadow sect were all too aware of this. In the distance, Luo Feng suddenly swung his blade. 3 continuous strikes. The first strike, dazzling and bright, sliced through the void, leaving behind a pitch-black rift. This brilliant strike naturally fell upon the vast formation. Named Heart Honing, this blade also severed spiritual will. However, with the 360 eternal true gods united by the formation diagram, although their souls felt pain and discomfort from the strike, they still endured, perfectly maintaining the formation. The second strike swept through the boundless primal chaos, stirring up dual-colored vortices in the chaos. This sweeping blade, with its mighty force, struck the large formation, causing it to tremble slightly. The third strike was silent and invisible. As the blade swung out, it vanished. By the time it reappeared, it had already struck one of the eternal true gods within the formation. That eternal true god was somewhat startled, his body shrouded in the luminescent flow of the formation. He managed to withstand Luo Feng's stealthy and terrifying blade. 3 strikes made, and the formation withstood them all. Direct attacks, attacks on the spiritual will, individuals involved in the formation, no flaws. Worthy of the Heart Shadow sect's strongest level of killing formation, impressive. As Luo Feng watched the formation approach, he immediately communicated through spiritual will, Morosa, let's go. Okay, Morosa nodded. Whoosh. The two instantly traversed the void, forcibly breaking through the spatial constraints and bypassing the obstacles of the dark Grand Formation in the high skies, leaving the area of Huyang City. The Grand Great Destruction Killing Formation also halted, and the 360 Heart Shadow sect's eternal true god disciples atop the ethereal formation diagram appeared somewhat helpless. This was all within their expectations. Since Elder Hartai and the others were unable to entangle Luo He, it meant this plan had largely failed. Unless Luo He was arrogant enough to venture into the formation on his own. His escaped. In the gathering place of the Heart Shadow sect leader and the 18 elders, they observed the battle scene displayed by the sect Great Formation. Elder Blind frowned and spoke, Luo He's spiritual will has reached the pinnacle of primal chaos level. Coupled with his extremely deep realm accumulation, we simply cannot find any weakness in him. Our Heart Shadow sect alone cannot detain him. Under the siege of the Heart Shadow sect, any eternal true god would be unable to resist. However, the most terrifying individual eternal true gods, if they truly wished to flee, even the Heart Shadow sect had no certainty of stopping them. The power that Luo Feng displayed made the Heart Shadow sect helplessly unable to contend with him. This time, because of Luo He, we've lost 6 super-large mechanical secret treasures, and scores of eternal true gods have perished, the elders lamented. No need to ponder further, the sect leader said, our enemy isn't him, but the army under the Marquis of Jiu Jiang. When the great army goes to war, the fight will be fierce and it comes down to head-on strength. With our many great formations exploding together, he can only flee far away. And as an independent cultivator, he demands an exorbitant higher price. Marquis of Jiu Jiang might not be willing to pay it, added the sect leader. Right. Luo He quoted us 2 billion cosmic sand. Even if he gives Marquis of Jiu Jiang a discount, it's likely to be an extremely high price. He probably won't appear on the battlefield. These elders truly did not wish to encounter Lord Luo He on the battlefield. The sect leader ordered, no need to ponder. Stick to the original plan and quickly plunder the entirety of Huyang City. The number of eternal true gods and true gods of the void space in Huyang City was vast. How many had Luo Feng and Morosa managed to save? They also had no choice. Managing to save the inhabitants of 9 artificing shops was already a joint rescue effort. If time dragged on, the Heart Shadow sect would likely set up multiple traps, such as moving numerous true gods of the void space into a certain killing formation. If Luo Feng and Morosa stumbled into it, escaping would be quite troublesome. Luo Feng was willing to save some creatures, but the prerequisite was to ensure his own safety. Luo Feng's conflict with the Heart Shadow sect had been witnessed by some of the eternal true gods within the city. If I had the power of Lord Luo He, what would the Heart Shadow sect matter? My Zhu clan is still too weak. Zhu watched from afar. The Zhu clan, with more than 20 eternal true gods known publicly and privately combined, was the strongest family in Huyang City. Yet in the face of the Heart Shadow sect, only Zhu Yu and Zhu Fuqing, 2 eternal true gods, remained in the city to find ways to protect their many clan members. Zhu Yu took a silent step and left. By this time, his appearance had already changed, and his aura was merely maintained at the standard level of a true god. In terms of preserving life and concealing presence, Zhu Yu was the strongest in his family. Asterisk 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 asterisk. Outside the city, a figure clad in dark red armor, emanating a dark aura, looked at Huyang City from a distance, his eyes like 2 burning blood-red flames. Luo He's strength is stronger than I anticipated. I didn't expect his spiritual will to be so formidable. Marquis Liu Yin was very calm. Even though this was just a divine power incarnation of his realm was simply too high. His eyes, as if merging with the dark side of the world, naturally observed every corner within the city. Inside the city, except for some areas sealed by formations or repelled by domains, he could observe almost everything. Alone Luo He can't change the outcome of the battle. The Heart Shadow sect only revealed a portion of their power this time, and just one killing formation forced Luo He to flee. Marquis Liu Yin looked forward with anticipation. On the frontal battlefield, when thousands of eternal true gods from the Heart Shadow sect explode with power and numerous formations coordinate, what can Marquis of Jiu Jiang use to resist? It was worth it to have the Heart Shadow sect take action in exchange for a large city within the future territory. Marquis of Jiu Jiang, do you have the guts to personally join the battle? Marquis Liu Yin's gaze was ice cold. A dispute over territory is not an ordinary fight. To join the battle is to gamble with life and death. Luo Feng, accompanied by Morosa, had just reached the outskirts of the city in a wasteland when he saw a familiar figure with white hair appearing in front of them. Lord Luo He, the white-haired young man said with a smile, we meet again. Luo Feng naturally recognized him. The last time he visited on behalf of Marquis of Jiu Jiang, it was this Jiang Yuyo, one of the 4 trusted aides and commanders under Marquis of Jiu Jiang. Commander Jiang, Luo Feng said. The Marquis wishes to see you, the white-haired young man said with a smile. Would you follow me? Don't worry, the Marquis is in a camp not far from here. Luo Feng was surprised. The Marquis is here. It's the Marquis's divine power incarnation, Jiang Yuyo explained. Please lead the way, Luo Feng replied promptly, following Jiang Yuyo through the void space with Morosa in tow. After only about a dozen traverses through void space, they arrived at a small city floating above a lake's surface, occupying tens of billions of kilometers, more aptly described as a super-large cave mansion. Jiang Yuyo led Luo Feng and Morosa into the small city. Inside a pavilion, the Marquis of Jiu Jiang was already seated, waiting while drinking. Marquis, Lord Luo He and his servant have arrived, said Jiang Yuyo, entering the pavilion with Luo Feng and Morosa. This was Luo Feng's first time meeting the Marquis of Jiu Jiang, who wore loose robes with silver hair, each strand affecting the endless void. His appearance was quite handsome. If Marquis Liu Yin carried blood and fire, darkness and disaster, weighty and terrifying, then Marquis of Jiu Jiang appeared like a traveler walking through heaven and earth. Luo He, Marquis of Jiu Jiang said with a smile, looking at Luo Feng. Please take a seat. Luo Feng was quite surprised to hear the polite invitation. This Marquis of Jiu Jiang didn't put on any airs of someone from the primal chaos realm. Luo Feng immediately took his seat, with Morosa standing by his side, looking utterly loyal. Your servant Luo-san may also sit, Marquis of Jiu Jiang said. Here with me there's no need to be overly formal. Thank you, Marquis, Luo Feng replied. Only then did Morosa take a seat to the side, still maintaining a mannerly demeanor. I've just personally witnessed your encounter with the Heart Shadow sect, Marquis of Jiu Jiang remarked. In terms of strength, I'm afraid there's not a single eternal true god in the entire Yu Kingdom that can compare with you, Luo He. One-on-one, he overwhelmed Elder Heart Eye's control of the Heart Devil Kite. Indeed, in the whole Yu Kingdom, only Luo Feng could accomplish this feat. You flatter me, Marquis, Luo Feng said. An eternal true god holds a will on par with the pinnacle of primal chaos, which is truly impressive, Marquis of Jiu Jiang mused. It's not an overstatement. Within the entire Yu Kingdom, apart from you, there's no second eternal true god who has achieved this. Listening, Luo Feng didn't continue with modesty. No wonder you dare to ask for a hiring price of 100 million cosmic sand. You do have the necessary strength, Marquis of Jiu Jiang smiled at Luo Feng. I'm willing to offer 100 million cosmic sand to invite you to join my side's army, to help us resist the invasion of Marquis Liu Yin's forces. Would you be willing to accept? Luo Feng was somewhat surprised. The Marquis of Jiu Jiang had always been reluctant before. Could it be that the methods Luo Feng had displayed in the confrontation with the Heart Shadow sect had finally moved him? Such a large amount of cosmic sand was still very important to him. If Marquis is willing to offer 100 million cosmic sand, Luo He is naturally willing to join Marquis's army, Luo Feng said. Ha ha ha, good, the Marquis of Jiu Jiang nodded in satisfaction. This 100 million cosmic sand, do you want it transferred to your account at Flame Wind Pavilion, or handed to you in person? Handing it to me is fine, Luo Feng replied. All right, I will personally deliver it to you within 3 days, the Marquis of Jiu Jiang said and, raising his glass to look at Morosa, proclaimed, let's drink together. Luo Feng and Morosa both raised their glasses and drank together. As for this employment, it will be considered over once Heart Shadow sect completely gives up, right? Luo Feng followed up with another question, knowing that Marquis Liu Yin's territory bordered the Marquis of Jiu Jiang's and, even if they failed this time, there might second and third provocations in the future. The employment will end once Heart Shadow sect completely gives up. The employment period will not exceed 10 eras, the Marquis of Jiu Jiang promised. Luo Feng understood and raised his glass to the Marquis. The Marquis of Jiu Jiang was also in high spirits. Though he had given up some wealth, it indeed greatly strengthened the power of his forces. After the banquet had dispersed, the Marquis of Jiu Jiang ordered a servant, take Luo He and his servant to their residence. Yes, the servant complied. Luo Feng and Morosa stood up and, led by the servant, proceeded to their temporary residence in the small town. In the pavilion, only the Marquis of Jiu Jiang was left sitting alone. Farther, a figure in blue clothing emerged from one side, a young man who bore a strong resemblance to the Marquis of Jiu Jiang. He couldn't help but speak up. Hiring this Luo He at the cost of 100 million cosmic sand seems too much. We spent only 60 million cosmic sand to hire General Yu. The Marquis of Jiu glanced at his son and shook his head. The strength Luo he had previously displayed indeed wasn't worth it. But in this battle, the primal chaos pinnacle will he revealed is extremely useful on the battlefield. With him present, those more than 100 super-large mechanical treasures were mostly rendered useless, hardly daring to rampage around. After all, if they encountered Luo He, even if those super-large mechanical treasures formed an array, it would be tantamount to suicide, the Marquis of Jiu explained. Upon hearing this, the young man nodded in realization. That makes sense. The previous 6 Shadows killing formation consisted of 6 super-large mechanical treasures working together. It had the strength for a head-on fight sufficient to entangle Luo He. But under the assault of the spiritual will, at that time, 5 of the super-large mechanical treasures lost their ability to resist and were easily swept away by Luo He. Spiritual will, in the face of group tactics, has a miraculous effect, the Marquis of Jiu remarked. An eternal true God possesses primal chaos pinnacle will. It's truly incredible. Your father, despite cultivating for endless ages, has only reached primal chaos pinnacle will. The young man nodded. With Luo He present, those super-large mechanical treasures can only hide within the killing formation, significantly reducing the threat. Let's not forget, he also has a servant. If the master is in danger, how could the servant stand by and do nothing? The Marquis of Jiu said with a smile, hiring one, but getting another as a bonus. The young man nodded in agreement. Seeing it this way, 100 million cosmic sand was indeed well spent. Father, when do we make our move? The young man asked. Our strength is still insufficient for now, let's wait a little longer, the Marquis of Jiu said, his divine power incarnation having gone to the royal capital to ask for assistance early on. Originally, the power difference between Liu Yin Primal Chaos State and Jiu Jiang Primal Chaos Prefecture wasn't too great. But with Heart Shadow Sect entering the war, being a Godly King level sect, it greatly upset the balance. The Marquis of Jiu had to find a way to gather reinforcements. Solely relying on Luo He and his servant would not be enough. The cave mansion where Luo Feng and Morosa were temporarily staying spanned over an area of more than 100,000 kilometers and was considered quite exquisite. In the meditation chamber of the cave mansion, Luo Feng sat cross-legged. Inside the star tower within his body, a divine power incarnation of Luo Feng descended. Lord Xie greeted the many cultivators gathered there, who had been rescued by Luo Feng. Everyone, Luo Feng looked at them. Brother Shong and I have a deep friendship. This time, Uncle Chiu asked for my help, and I only had enough time to rescue cultivators from 9 artificing shops. I couldn't do anything for the rest of the disciples of the Heavenly Flame sect. The disciples of Heavenly Flame sect were numerous and scattered everywhere, so only the 9 largest artificing shops could be saved. Just saving 9 artificing shops is something for which all disciples of my Heavenly Flame sect are immensely grateful, the silver-like creature, Uncle Chiu, said excitedly, feeling that Lord Luo He had made a great sacrifice for them. And there are also many guests from the artificing shops, Luo Feng addressed them. During the previous battles, to prevent any harm to you, I had to take you out of Huyang City. If you wish to return to Huyang City, I will send you back once this war is over. We are not in a hurry. We are willing to follow the God, they responded. God has shown great kindness to us, they added. These guests, consisting of true gods of void space and even more so, numerous true gods, already found survival in Huyang City challenging. Being associated with Lord Luo He was considered a stroke of good fortune. After soothing these cultivators, Luo Feng met with Dream Flower Tower Master, Araya, and the Moyu family. Dream Flower is grateful for God's life-saving grace. The master of Dream Flower Tower expressed her thanks. It wasn't really life-saving, Luo Feng said with a smile. Heart Shadow Sect probably wouldn't have killed you. The Dream Flower Tower master shook her head. If not for the god's help, all treasures this time would have been plundered. Even I, only skilled in music and illusion techniques, would probably have been caught by the higher-ups of the Heart Shadow Sect, to be used as a musician, or even worse, as a plaything. If she had been willing to be a musician or plaything, she would not have come to establish the Dream Flower Tower in Huyang City. Many powerful families and sects would welcome an eternal true God-level musician like her. Then you must cultivate diligently. Only by relying on yourself can you endure in the long run, Luo Feng said. Cultivate? How easily said than done. The Dream Flower Tower Master shook her head, while Araya by her side listened with even more complex feelings. As a true god of void space from the Thousand Leaves Vine clan, she was still far behind in music and illusion techniques compared to the Tower Master. As long as you keep accumulating, there will eventually be a harvest. Araya, you must also work hard, Luo Feng said with a smile, glancing at Araya. Okay, Araya nodded. Luo Feng looked towards the Moyu family to his side, Moyu Qingyang, the family of Moyu Laifeng, and the pregnant Mo Youshang. Lord Xie has saved our Moyu family, Moyu Laifeng said gratefully. Luo Feng said with emotion, Moyu Liuxing was very smart, it's a pity that he encountered this catastrophe. Mo Youshang was the most saddened at the moment. Like a family member, her master Shang Qinyan's death was a huge blow to her. Now that her husband, Moyu Liuxing, had also died, she was fortunate to still have the child in her belly. This was the only thing she cared about in the world now. Thank you, Lord Xie, for avenging Liuxing, Mo Youshang said with gratitude. Another space within the Star Tower. Throughout the long years of Luo Feng's cultivation journey, he had seen much joy and sorrow, unions, and partings. Even he found himself powerless many times. Swoosh. Buzz. Whoosh. One could see distant primal chaos layer creatures flying cheerfully. These were 15 creatures that Luo Feng had captured alive in the primal chaos layer during the last 5 eras, each harboring complete primal chaos laws within. 15 primal chaos layer creatures, comprising 6 species. For instance, the silverlight creatures, Luo Feng had caught 3 of them, each formed from 108, 397, and 1091 silver droplets, respectively. The other species each had their own characteristics. By studying these creatures, Luo Feng's understanding of the primal chaos laws deepened as well. Up till now, I've deduced up to 16 primal chaos realm techniques. And I can combine these primal chaos realm techniques, Luo Feng thought to himself. Just like some precious mechanical treasures, which may contain several primal chaos realm techniques that can be combined with each other, significantly enhancing the strength they can unleash. Despite such accumulation, I still have not deduced the law of primal chaos. Luo Feng felt rather tormented. It was as if the law of primal chaos was right before him, clearly visible. But when he tried to touch it, it was like grasping at air. No matter what, he couldn't comprehend it fully, always just a bit short. Just a bit short. When I deduced 10 primal chaos realm techniques, I felt like I was just a bit short of mastering the law of primal chaos. Now after figuring out 16 techniques, I'm still just a bit short, Luo Feng mused. Luo Feng was exceptionally talented, possessing a vast godly body that far surpassed historical figures, which gave him a powerful soul. Coupled with godly king-level will, his efficiency in comprehension was naturally extremely high. Yet even so, comprehending the law of primal chaos felt arduous. Always feeling just a bit short. As long as you keep accumulating, there will eventually be a harvest, Luo Feng sat cross-legged and began to concentrate on comprehension. Asterisk 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 asterisk. Time passed day by day. Huyang City gradually returned to calm, except the true gods of void space and the eternal true gods within were almost completely looted. The Heart Shadow sect had indeed made a killing. At the highest peak within the primal chaos armor sector, the master of the Heart Shadow sect and the 18 elders gathered, all looking in the direction of the city owner's mansion. Sect leader, shall we not pay a price in casualties to take down this city owner's mansion? The one-eyed elder proposed. What's the rush? The master of the Heart Shadow sect looked towards the distant city owner's mansion. We have completely sealed off the city owner's mansion now, they can't come out, and they pose no threat to us. The city owner's mansion is, after all, the core of Huyang City. This super-large mechanical city has been built over generations by controllers, making it a formidable super-large mechanical secret treasure, the one-eyed elder commented. Once this super-large mechanical city falls into the hands of an array master, it can play a powerful role. Marquis Jiu Jiang will probably send an array master to enter the city owner's mansion. The master of the Heart Shadow sect observed, all we need is to wait patiently, seize one, and we kill one. By retaining the city owner's mansion, they could intercept all reinforcements. We have indeed set up a great formation in advance, completely trapping the city owner's mansion. Any supporting array master who comes, we can intercept and kill. But I think we should conquer the city owner's mansion beforehand. That way, Marquis Jiu Jiang won't be able to control Huyang City, the one-eyed elder said. Elder Heart Eye spoke up, I agree with the sect leader. The key is to kill the array masters. We've taken Huyang City this time, next we might have to attack Shuyin City. In the future, we might even be forced to assault Jiu Jiang City. There are 3 large cities, and top-notch array masters aren't easy to come by. Marquis Jiu Jiang inviting outsiders might be lucky to get one. Killing an array master is far more important than taking the city owner's mansion, Elder Heart Eye reasoned. Without an array master, the 3 large cities won't pose much of a threat, said the master of the Heart Shadow sect. Large cities were perfected over generations, and even before the Yu Kingdom, divine kingdoms had reinforced them. As a result, each large city had extremely complex formations. The deeper the understanding of formations, the greater the might that could be unleashed from the large city. Potentially in terms of potential, it surpasses the Heart Shadow sect's Great Destruction Ultimate Formation. This episode is end here.